Greetings, folks. This is Victor Haskins. Let's talk about how to use a metronome to practice more effectively. The metronome can be an extremely effective tool to help you consistently and incrementally improve your control of musical skills. Whether you're working on harmony exercises, rhythm exercises, learning sheet music, tunes, whatever it is, the metronome should be your best friend. The metronome, however, is just a tool, which means that it is only going to be as effective as your ability to use it properly. I'll illustrate this concept by introducing another tool with which we are all very familiar, the pencil. This piece of technology works by using the exposed graphite tip in order to transfer characters onto a surface. However, how effective do you think my pencil will be if I use this nubby brass end that's not even an eraser to do the same thing? Not effective. Somehow, though, when I give students assignments and say, use your metronome to practice this piece of music or this exercise, they use the metronome the same way they might use the nubby brass side of this pencil, and they get no results. So, I figured I would make this video, as well as the next several videos, to explain how to effectively use this very powerful tool. I've written this piece of music, poetically titled Metronome Practice, or rather, Metronome Practice, in order to illustrate how to use a metronome. When we look at a new piece of music, the first thing we should do is look at bar 1. Bar 1 is going to give us a lot of information about the piece. We see the key signature says that F's are sharp. The time signature says it's 4/4 time, which means that the quarter note gets the beat and there are 4 beats in a measure, which means that there are 4 quarter notes in a measure. Above the staff, we see the tempo indication, moderato, which is an Italian term which means moderate or a medium tempo. So our medium tempo will be 100 beats per minute. Remember, this is our performance tempo, our target tempo. We will not start practicing at 100 beats per minute or anything close to that. We're going to start much slower. Below the measure, we see MF, which means mezzo forte, which is an Italian term which means medium loud. So we're going to play at a medium dynamic. Now we're ready to begin our physical practice. We will not start practicing in bar 1. We will instead start practicing in bar 8, or whatever is the last bar of the piece of music that you're playing. Why? Let's think about the logic of how we might practice. If you start practicing in bar 1, you'll play bar 1, you'll get to bar 2, maybe make a mistake, and you'll start over. So then you'll play bar 1 and play bar 2 and then play bar 3 and make a mistake and start over. And you'll play bar 1 and bar 2 and bar 3 and bar 4 and make a mistake and start over. By the time you've practiced bar 4, you've played bar 1 at least 3 or 4 times. What happens by the time we get to bar 8? You've played bar 1 7 or 8 times at that point. But how many times have we played bar 8? Maybe once, maybe twice? So what happens is we end up becoming less familiar with the piece as we go forward in time. Instead of that happening, we'll start at the end in bar 8, and when we master that bar, we'll add bar 7, and then we'll add bar 6, and then we'll add bar 5. And when we do that, the piece will become more familiar as we go forward. Why would we want to do that? Well, think about it this way. When you practice, you're in a space that is generally very familiar. Maybe it's your home, maybe it's a practice room, but it's somewhere where you're comfortable playing and working out all the kinks of your playing. When you go to perform, you're generally in a less familiar location. Maybe it's a stage. And there's other factors that are not present in your practice room. Maybe there's bright lights or an audience. So now you're a little bit nervous from all these new factors that you're not used to playing around. Now, what we want to do is we want to build good habits. You've probably heard the phrase, practice makes perfect. We know that's a lie. You've probably heard the addendum to that phrase, perfect practice makes perfect. That's also a lie because we're human beings and we'll never be perfect. So, that's also a lie. A better phrase might be, good practice builds good habits. We want to build good habits because what we do is a result of the habits we've built. So when we perform, you fall back on the habits you've built. And that's what we're doing when we practice, is building those habits upon which we will lean when we need to. So we're going to start practicing this piece starting in the final bar and adding each measure before it until we reach the beginning of the piece. Now, I don't want this video to get too long, so I'm going to end the video right here, and next week we're actually going to dive into the actual implementation of using the metronome to practice this piece. So, if you like this video, hit thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, turn on your notifications, leave any comments or questions you have down below, and tune in next week for the next installment of How to Practice with a Metronome. Thank you guys. Have a great day.